Hi, it's Counting Sheep, and instead of Serena doing a reading for 2023, it's going to just be me. And I was going to do a hypnosis, but there's a lot of noise and the heater coming on and off, so I was hoping that if I did just a gentle, soft-talking video with you of our year ahead, 2023, that might be kind of a fun thing to do today. So the deck I'm using is the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron-Reid. Beautiful deck. And the artist, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I'm going to put it up here if you want to freeze frame it. This is the artist, and she's fantastic. I think her art is extremely, sometimes I'll read the deck without even looking at the little booklet that comes with it, because there's a lot of story, for me at least, in the art. Okay. One thing I was going to say is I started this and dropped the cards, so I'm going to go with the two cards that I originally pulled for the overall theme, and then I'll do monthly. It's a general reading. I've been reading cards for about 20 years, and I'm a big believer in the energy that comes through for me is rarely fear-based. It's usually a gentle energy, so I will pass that along to you. The first card, which was for the overall energy for 2023, was Compass. The message that came through for me with this card as I pulled it was that this is a year, as an overall theme, where we are going to use our inner voice, our heart, as our compass. So you might feel an intuition to go in a new direction, and it feels like new direction for 2023. And one of the things that came through for me, and you can, always just take it if it feels good to you, is that with COVID, a lot of, because we were isolated, there was a lot of polarization that happened, and we'd hear there's a lot of conspiracy stuff going around on both sides of the tracks. And so what I get is to go inside and listen to the calm voice, not the active, angry, reactive, that was the word, to avoid the reactive self and listen to the calm, active self. So that's the theme for 2023. New direction, calm direction with the inner voice, and starting to find that inner voice that is calm and trusting. And that we need more of that in the world. January was the other card I pulled ahead of time, and then I'll shuffle through the rest and hope I don't drop them. January was slow and steady. What I get for that is, it's obvious, take it slow and steady, but that there is movement in that. Slow doesn't mean stop. Sometimes we need to pause in our life to find new direction. But as you listen to your heart and the direction the heart wants to move, which is going to come to us gently and perhaps repetitively, start to move in that direction. Make some general headway in that direction. Don't feel a panic if you can help it. There's no need to feel panicked about going this direction. It's just acknowledging that intuition and taking steps to move in that direction. February. What's the general theme for February for all of us that we can make slow and steady movement on? Okay, unexpected visitors. So what I get with this card, and there's a little rabbit down there that has significance in our family for my sister and for me because of my sister. What this is, what the energy or information I get from this card at this time for this reading for February is there might be a new idea that comes now. We've got this slow and steady idea, but there might be a new idea that comes unexpectedly. And this one might come with a little more, I'm not going to say force, but a little more energy behind it. And you can see she's a little timid peeking around the door like, I don't know, do I want to go there? It feels like it's something to look at and consider and step into with care and mindfulness, but it doesn't feel like it's something fearful or dangerous or something to worry about. So if you meet new people or a new group or have a new job offer, a new idea that maybe is a new business, allow yourself to move a little bit, pivot a little bit in this direction. Don't be afraid to look at it just because it's new and different, and appreciate what's different about it. And then feel free, if you want to open that door more and go through, to look at it a little deeper, because it feels like it's something that you were not expecting, something that's new and different, but something wonderful for you. It's very specific to you. So that's kind of cool. Okay, March 2023. Let's see what card message comes through for March 2023. Follow the leader. So, what I'm going to go with for this card, let me just check in for a minute. There's time. And January was slow and steady. There was something a little unexpected that came to us in February. And in March, it feels like there are going to be maybe people or groups or something along that line that are there to either guide us on this journey that we're heading out into, or this new direction, and or that want to follow us. So you might be the leader or you might be following the leader, but there is support. There's a group and there's support in that direction. And this month might be a little more time sensitive. You might need to make these choices. And I don't know that this is the all new direction. I think it feels more like this is a step of congealing, is that the right word? Bringing together the package of how you move in this direction even more, a bigger step. So whether this is that new direction or the one that comes through in January, feel free to look around you for the support, and you'll kind of, I suspect, sense whether it's something you take the lead on or whether there's a very clear leader that you're going to learn from by following. So that's March. All right, April 2023. Let's see what kind of theme comes to us for April. Okay, April. Coming apart. So what I get for this is there might be, and this can be related to this theme that we're having for the year, or this could be very different. It might feel in April like things are falling apart, whether it's something in with this project or with life in general. And one of these two women has her eyes covered, and I think the other one has them closed, yeah. But what I see with this is that there is, sometimes there really needs to be a bit of a crumbling of one idea that we get fixed on in order for it to take new form. So this doesn't feel like a fear-based card. This just feels like an acknowledgement that if it feels like things are falling apart, you can not be afraid of that. You can let it go a little bit and go, oh, you know, if everything happens for me and not to me, and in this moment I'm thinking, oh, this is happening to me, take a moment, breathe, and look at what might be forming out of this crumbling or chaos. We might feel that it's chaos depending on how dramatic you are inclined to be, or you might feel that it's just a crumbling, like, oh, I was pushing this idea through, and oh, it's actually got a little different form than I thought. So nothing to be fearful of, just something to be mindful of and to allow. Sometimes we get resistant about an idea. I certainly do. And it's good to just sometimes let go, step back and go, what form could this take that might be more beneficial to everyone or to me or whatever, okay? May 2023. I remember a couple years ago, and it ended up being the year that COVID hit, that each month kind of just fluctuated back and forth, and it just felt like this. It was kind of confusing as I was reading, and then it ended up being kind of an interesting year where it felt like stop, start, stop, start. And this year feels much more like a flow. Even with the falling apart, it feels like it's just part of the flow, and that, you have this little moment of regrouping or looping around and going, oh, okay, but there feels like there's a little bit of a thread. So far, we'll see what May brings us. May, Dragon's Lair. Okay, oops, sorry. Dragon's Lair is kind of similar to the falling apart, where we fear there's a dragon in there. We're afraid of it. And it's actually just fine. So that dragon, you see those red, there is a dragon flying through the air in this ice castle. It's so beautiful. And then these red hiding lights. So there's that feeling of, oh no, dread. Oh no, what's around the corner? And actually, there's not anything to dread. Often there isn't, right? Even when we lose people or things happen in life where things fall apart. So often, if we have a moment to step back and gain perspective, we see what gift it brought to us, even in the loss. So in this month, if one feels fearful of change or that something's lurking, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just well, I do affirmations. I'm safe. Life is beautiful. It's unfolding perfectly for me. And then it allows my mind to shift out of fear. Because many of us have had trauma in our childhood that leads us to think A plus B always equals C, and C isn't good. So in this month, avoid the tendency to go to the extreme and to go to the retreat and fear and what's coming. Relax, trust, breathe, and we're going to see what June brings. June. Heal the ouch. So whatever we're afraid of, whether it's real, something real that happens, or something that we're just fearful of in our mind, there's an opportunity in June for healing for that. And often with healing comes, for me, tremendous blessings and gifts as we heal. When we heal, we see, first of all, the miracle of the healing process, even if it's just literally like I've got this big cut I had on my thumb, and watching that heal each day is kind of miraculous for me. It's just interesting to see the body heal itself. But what I feel with this particular card is that there is very likely someone else involved that assists us with that healing, that it's not just an internal healing, and sometimes that is the way. But with this card, I get that the healing is, we're assisted, we feel support in the healing. Now, maybe that's a literal person, maybe that's healing from a pet, maybe it's nature, and maybe if you feel connected to the universe, maybe it's healing from the other side. But that there is healing outside of ourselves that assists us with this, and that helps us see that everything's all right. So that's June. Healing. I want to see if there's anything else. It feels like there's a little more with that card. Message for June. Just simple, but we have to, if we want to heal, we have to allow it to heal. We can get in the way of our healing by not letting someone assist, or by, continually putting the thumb that's cut into, vinegar or whatever, like not protecting it while we're cleaning or something that inhibits the healing. That's something very literal. But if it's emotional healing or physical healing, because some folks may have some issues that come up, we have to allow others to assist us if we want to have others assist us. So if there is healing to be offered outside of us, we have to be willing to allow it in, which sometimes requires a mindset, an open heart, and vulnerability. July 2023. Let's see what messages come through. Okay. Home. So July feels like it could be just a little bit calmer with whatever we're working on and moving through. And there's little treasures hidden around the home. We see the wise owl, little clock. I'm not even sure what that's in there, little treasure box maybe. But there are little treasures in home. So whatever home ends up being for you in July could be literal, could be your environment that you call home, could be going home to family and visiting. There's a gift in home in July. I'm feeling a real comfort, a relaxed, safe rejuvenation time, rejuvenation of nature green. I'm seeing green, and there is a lot of nature in this card around this house, right? So, and home for some of you could be in nature. I know people that are very much more at home in nature than they are in their walled environments. So enjoy your home, whatever home is for you in nature, and there are gifts that come of it. So if anything, look for the gifts in home for you in July, okay? That's kind of the fun little thing to watch for from the card. August. Here we go. One ring circus. I'm not reading reversals. If they come out upside down, I'm flipping them. Okay, one ring circus. Now, one could look at this and think, oh, this person's isolated, and they're on this this precipice, this tower that doesn't really have a way out. But what I look at it is this person is taking a moment to, and they're not alone. There's an elephant beneath them, that wise elephant who is reaching back its trunk toward the person sitting on it. So, one ring circus, what I get for August is to perhaps avoid the mindset that we're alone and that we operate on our own. Even if you are a solo person, there is always energy around, or there are people around, and I always say in animals and our pets and our nature, but we're never alone. So if in August there is a desire to just move on your own and disregard everyone, again this year I get that feeling of avoid the drama and the extremes and find gentle ways to look around for the support. The support is there. So the aloneness is a story. Sometimes we're meant to walk the path on our own. But in this one, I'm getting this year, there's support around. There's support around us to lead us on the path, or to follow us on the path, or to stand by our side on the path. So don't buy into the story that you're all alone. Sometimes we have to have those days where we feel sorry for ourselves. I know. I certainly do. And I'm a believer that sometimes you need to do that. Feel sorry for yourself. Indulge it. Because there's often a child, and a small child, that needs to be indulged with that feeling sad or sorry about something. But then look at the story that you're telling, and maybe tell a different story, and look for the support that is around you and literally beneath you and supporting you. Okay, I have those all facing me, so let me do another little shuffle away. September. Spark. Something in September brings us a spark of love, a spark of joy, a spark of excitement. And look at that closely. There's hearts just kind of flying off of that beautiful violin. So there might be a spark of energy that we feel that is beautiful, and I hear music, and there's music in the card. So something. Okay, here's what I'm getting. There is something. This feels a little bit different from the through line. There's an opportunity in September, and maybe it's travel opportunity or a relationship opportunity, or somebody says, I've got to get rid of my cat. Do you want my cat? There's some fun little spark that sparks joy and love in you. Some fun little surprise in September. All right, now we're going to go to October. We're 3/4 through the year. October 2023. Magic Prayer. Oh, I love that card. That's beautiful. So, October may feel like there is almost a magical support. Now, Magic Prayer, sometimes when I pull that card, is a need for us to reach out for support and to feel heard. And like, I call it my soul cry. Sometimes I'll put out a soul cry and just be like, I need direction here. I feel so lost. But what I'm feeling with this one is that, we had this spark in September. There is almost a feeling of really feeling in October that support and love, and that almost feels bigger than life. Like, how did all of this happen? And perhaps you put out that magic prayer a few months before. Maybe it was now. Maybe it was in January as the new year began, and you're thinking about the resolutions or the energy and direction you want to move in the new year, that slow and steady movement. But October, there's perhaps some magic that you get to feel of how supported you are in this new direction that you've been going, and that you are not alone on the path, and that it's really clear to you how magical that feels and how beautiful it is that you're supported. I always say by the universe, but you don't have to have that belief. Just supported by life and the people around you. November. Oops, that one popped right out. November, details. Oh, fun. Okay, here we go. So November, there may need to be more attention to detail in this new direction that you're taking. And sometimes that's handled by the people on your team, and sometimes that's you. But there is a focus, perhaps a need for focus and attention to details in November. And if you celebrate holidays in December, and not everybody does, but sometimes November is the month where you're focusing on that. And it could be as simple as that. But it also could be about life, about work, about just these new ideas, creations that you're making, that this month of November is an opportunity to focus on the details. December 2023. And our deck has gotten smaller because I'm tossing the ones that I've already pulled to the side. December. How do we end up the year? Cleaning house. Well, that's interesting. All right, let me see what I feel about that card. Okay, so November, we were looking at details of things. December feels much more simple. And sometimes December can be really crazy. But I almost feel like all the work's been done in terms of whatever projects we're working on, or the details we've been working on, and the drawer is full of things. There's all kinds of there's stuff on that. There's a little cat in there. I don't know if that's little leaves. I think they're just little leaves here on the window. I'm not sure. But there's been so much work done. The season has been bountiful. We've been moving things. It's been gentle and calm. It's been a calm year, even with movement. So really, it feels like in December, all that we really need to do is focus on cleaning the house. There's another way to say that. Hang on. Okay. Almost like when you've done all the wrapping of a gift and all that's left is the little bit of the bow on top, that little bit of, or the icing on the cake. And so it's not like there's no work at all. But if we've kept the house clean through the year, it's really not a big deal to just kind of do a final sweep, just to do a final, I keep seeing the bow on top of the gift, but or maybe the sprig in the bow, that there's some little nice touch that we can put on things in December to whatever this idea is, or maybe it's separate, might be holiday related, but it feels like it will be an enjoyable cleaning of the house, and that it won't feel like a lot of work. It doesn't feel like a work cleaning the house. It feels more like this is going to be kind of fun and this is going to be beautiful. I feel so good after I've cleaned up my house. Okay, after I'll have, on a weekend, okay, vacuum, like 3 things: vacuum, get this picture up on the wall, and iron clothes or whatever. And when I check off my little list, it feels so good. So it feels like there will be an enjoyable fine-tuning in December that we kind of end the year with, the bow on top, that we kind of wrap it up and make it look beautiful, and that it's an enjoyable process, this cleaning and dusting of things, that it's just kind of like, okay, all set and ready for the new year. So I will come back to you hopefully in 2024 with a reading. Isn't that crazy? I don't know how fast 2022 went for you. There were days that were long. The months went fast for me, and they have for the past couple years. COVID just did something weird with time, for me at least. So anyway, I hope that you have a beautiful season, a beautiful year, and I will hope to get maybe a hypnosis video out to you soon. I've thought of a couple things, so we'll see. And if the noise allows, have a wonderful holiday for those of you that want to celebrate the holiday. Have a wonderful December and January, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And thanks for stopping by.